up, y'all? It's Alexiana. Welcome to the Lexi Show. Now, this story time right here. By the way, y'all like my chain? Let me get close. It says dripping. Funny story. Before I get into the story time and stuff like that. Funny story. I remember last Friday and stuff. I remember I was going to work and stuff like that, and I decided to stop by a little Indian store to get some gas and stuff like that. And they had this chain right here at the register and stuff like that. And hey, I decided to get it because I thought it was cute and stuff like that. And funny story, this chain right here, it cost me $29, but the store clerk, he was so nice, he let me have it for $20. Like, it cost $29 originally, but he let me have it for $20. Like, child, it must have been my lucky day that day, and I wasn't even dressed like a girl, honey. Like, it must have been my lucky day, because you can't beat that, but I love it. Again, it says dripping. I like it because I thought it was cute. But anyways, in today's video, this is a long-awaited story time. Like, it's story time I thought I never was going to tell and stuff like that. And Dad, if you're watching this video and stuff like that, it involves you. And yeah, like, it's a long-awaited story time and whatnot. But yeah, we're going to get into it. I'm going to be telling y'all about the story of the time my dad had to check a bully for me. And girl, all I can say is grab your wine, grab your snacks, because it's story time, like Nikki Glamour would say. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, or if you know me in real life, then you know that one of my first jobs was McDonald's. I will forever say that the years 2015 and 2016 will forever go down in history as being one of two of the best years of my life, because that's when yours truly became an adult. I got my first job, like a bitch had bought his own school clothes, own school shoes, school supplies. I paid for my own yearbook. Like, hey, like, I thought I was the shit that year. Like, I remember I had started working at McDonald's the end of my junior year and the rest of my senior year. Like, it was the summer after my junior year, and throughout my whole senior year of high school started, I worked at McDonald's. Like, girl, I thought I was, the shit. Like, I thought I was top tier that year, honey. Like, I had my own job. Like, you know how it is when you're a kid, you get your first job. Like, the feeling not depending on your parents anymore. Like, that's a good feeling, honey. So, yeah, like 2015, 2016, first job working at McDonald's, bing, bam, boom. And one thing about working at McDonald's, it taught me a lot, about how money works, how people work, money management, and all that stuff. And let me just say, I worked at the McDonald's in Sylvester, Georgia, and girl, let me tell you, a lot of shit went down at McDonald's. Like, a lot of shit went down at McDonald's. Like, I remember, excuse me, I had a burp. But, yeah, a lot of shit had went down at McDonald's. Like, I remember I saw an Amish family come in. It was a mother and her 2 or 3 daughters. I remember one of the employees, she was about to beat a customer's ass because she had called her a hoe. And I remember there was about to be a fight between this grown man and some teenage boy and stuff like that a lot of people were crowded around to see, including myself. Like, a lot of stuff had went down at McDonald's. A lot. I'm just telling you the half of it now. This right here, what I'm about to tell y'all, like, this goes at the top of my list. Like, this is unforgettable for me. Like, this is deep branded in my brain, girl. Like, I had to talk about this. This is unforgettable. So, like I said, like, with McDonald's, like, it taught me all about people, money management, all that stuff. I met a lot of good people, but with good people comes bad people. Let's get into it. Okay, so there's this one boy who we're going to call Skinny Jeans. He ain't wasn't no Skinny Jeans, but we just going to call him Skinny Jeans because he was skinny as hell. And around this time, I wasn't out the closet, but I did find boys attractive. I wasn't out the closet then, but I still did find boys attractive. And, you know, he was cute somewhat. Like, he was a tall, skinny dude and stuff like that. Like, he had like a low haircut and stuff like that. He was tall, skinny, had a low haircut, had big eyes, had somewhat of some big lips, kind of like my complexion and stuff like that. Like, he was cute somewhat, you know. Like, cute, happy-go-lucky, funny. Like, I love those types. But, yeah. When, you know, we first started talking and stuff like that, you know, we had like little small talks here and there and stuff like that. You know, he was cool, you know. I ain't gonna lie, at first I had considered him a friend, but that's a red flag. To everyone that's watching this video, if you have a job and stuff like that, or if you're about to get your first job as a child, let me give y'all a little piece of advice. There are no friends on a job. Everybody is looking to come up. There are no friends at a job. You're there to work, not make friends. So keep it strictly professional and go on about your business. That's all I gotta say. But keep in mind, like when I first worked at McDonald'S and stuff like that, I was 18, so that was my first real job and stuff like that. So hey, what do you expect? I ain't know no better. But anyways, yeah. Like I remember, you know, I befriended him right off the bat and stuff like that because, you know, he was nice to me. He was cool. He was funny. Whatever the case may be. But let's fast forward to when shit hit the fan. I want to say either it was a Friday night or a Saturday night because I remember it was me, Skinny Jeans, and a lot of other people in the kitchen and stuff like that. Like, we were closing. And one of my main jobs when I worked at McDonald's, I was the maintenance man. I was the maintenance man and stuff like that when I was working at McDonald's and stuff like that. And at this time and stuff like that, they somewhat had trained me to work in the kitchen. So, yeah, I think I was working in the kitchen that day. I think I was. So, like I said, it was me, Skinny Jeans, and some other people and stuff like that. It was nighttime. We were all closing. And one thing about Skinny Jeans and stuff like that, he was a straw boss. And if you don't know what a straw boss is, a straw boss basically is someone that is a regular old employee at the job, but they try to act like they're over everyone. They try to act like they're a boss when they're really not. Like they're a regular old employee that tries to act like they're a boss when really they're not. Like, dude, know your place. And when he used to do that and stuff, like none of the other managers would check him. Like I remember there was this fine ass, beautiful ass girl that was a McDonald's manager and stuff. I forgot her name. We just gonna call her Mongolia. Hell, we just gonna call her Mongolia. Like, she wasn't gonna check him anyway and stuff like that because hell, they used to just be kiki, playing, laughing with each other and stuff like that. They probably was fucking anyway. So yeah, like she wasn't gonna check him regardless. But yeah. And one thing he will always get me to do and stuff like that is wash the dishes after every shift. And like, I didn't have no problem with washing the dishes and stuff like that because, hey, it's working so like that. I don't mind working because I was raised like that. But it's like every time this happens, because this wasn't the first time I was closing, like every time we be closing and whatnot and stuff like that, you always get me to do them and stuff like that, bro. Like, get somebody else to do it for a change and stuff like that. Give me a break. Like, get somebody else to do it for a change and stuff like that. And it was at this night and stuff like that, like, I put my foot down and told him, like, I think it was time for us to close stuff like that. He was like, hey, well, he didn't never call me by my name. He used to just say, hey, whatever. He was like, hey, man, like, you'll go over there and wash some dishes. I was like, well, I forgot what I said, but let's just say I said something along the lines of, well, I told him, like, well, can't you get somebody else to do them? Because I always do them. I think I said something along the lines. He was like, well, we need the dishes clean, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And I remember I had gave him a look, like a angry, tired look, like, because, like, nigga, you pissing me off. Like, you try to act like you're a boss when you're really not. Like, I always do the damn dishes and stuff like that. Get somebody else to do them. Like, I'm tired of being the only one that does them. And stuff like that. And I remember I gave him that look. He was like, hey, bro, if you don't do these dishes, I'll get Mongolia to send you home. Bitch, what? What my dad had said on Dying Man Black Woman, you ain't got no power over no D. Like, nigga, you ain't got no power over me. Like, the fuck? Hell, at that time we was the same age. Like the fuck, a kid bossing another kid around. The fuck, but I don't know why hell. I don't know why hell stuff like that. Like it was my first job, so I listened to him and I went my happy ass back there and washed the dishes, whatever. But I remember I want to wait. Let me see. Did I go wash the dishes or I did it? Did I or did I not? Yeah, I think I did. I think I was in the middle of washing the dishes and stuff like that, and this was the first time he bossed me around. He did this like plenty other times, stuff like that. But this is the first time I had enough. And I think I was in the middle of washing dishes and stuff like that, and I think the Mongolia lady and stuff like that, I think she was in the office, she was doing her manager stuff. And I was like, hey Mongolia, can I talk to you for a minute? She was like, yeah, what's up? And I told her like how Skinny Jeans was bossing me around and stuff. I was like, I threw this in there because, like I said, I had reason to believe in my mind that they was fucking around because they was always kiki laughing with each other, always flirting with each other. Like I had reason to believe that they was fucking around. So I was like, Skinny Jeans, he's bossing me around inside there. I understand he's your boyfriend, blah blah. She's like, and she looked at me crazy. She's like, my boyfriend? What? And she pulled out her phone and she showed me her screensaver. She had showed me her screensaver. She's like, my boyfriend, what? She showed me her screensaver and stuff. She's like, that's my boyfriend. And she was hooked up with some white guy stuff. But I was like, well, yeah, Skinny Jeans, he's bossing me around and blah, 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 and stuff like that. She said she'll talk to him. So, boom. I exited the office and she pulled Skinny Jeans in the office and had talked to him and stuff like that. He stayed there for a little hot minute, and then he came out and stuff like that. And I think I was still doing the dishes and stuff like that. And then Skinny Jeans, he made a big deal out of it. He was like, this nigga tried to tell on me and stuff like that. And yeah, he was talking about it with some other coworkers, and they was, kiki laughing and whatnot. And he kept making little outbursts like, oh, I'm so mad, this, that, and the third, and kept glaring at me and shit like that. Like, yeah, I told her, so what? Like, do something. Like, that's what I was thinking in my mind, but yeah. So, blah, blah, blah. I had washed the dishes and stuff. Bing, bam, boom. I went back to, I think I was cleaning up at this point and stuff like that. Or fixing food for the customer or whatever. I forgot what I was doing next. But yeah, I remember I had finished washing dishes and I went on about my business. And I think Skinny Jeans had went and checked out the dishes or went to go get something from the dish rack and stuff. And he was like, hey, what Anastasia said? Mind you, that was the first time he had said my name. That was the first time he had said my name and stuff. Because he always used to say, hey, man, this, that, and the third. He never used to address me by my name. He had said, hey, wait. I think at that point I had told him my name because he never used to address me by my name. He used to say, hey, man, or hey, bro, this, that, and the third. I was like, oh, by the way, my name is Duntavius and stuff like that. And yeah, he just took note of it and stuff. And yeah. He had went back there and stuff like that to check the dishes and stuff. And I'm guessing he was mad about something. He was like, hey, what Anastasia said? And he held up some little thing where they keep like the hamburger patties in. So it's like, hey man, let's say he said something online. So, hey man, this is unacceptable. A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And I remember I looked at him like this. He was like, he was like, you can look like that all you want to, A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. And he was still talking this rah-rah shit and stuff like that. And girl, when I tell you I had lost it, Girl, the bass had came in my throat. I was like, I forgot what I said, but I was mad, bitch. I was mad because this nigga stayed trying me. He stayed trying to boss me around. And I forgot what I said, but I was like, oh my God, and other shit. Man, I had stormed out of that lobby and stuff like that. And at the time, stuff like that, there was like a swinging door that a lot of the customers, not customers, there was a swinging door where all the employees used to come in and come outside there to start their shift. Bitch, I remember I had pushed that shit over there, hit the wall. Man, I remember I had went outside and stuff like that. And I started crying. Not sad crying, but I was angry crying and stuff like that. And there's this one lesbian chick. We're gonna call her So we're gonna call her Serena. She was a tall lesbian chick that wore glasses inside it. She came out there and checked on me. She was like, "Hey, are you okay? This, that, and the third." And girl, I remember I was bawling and stuff like that. Like I was inconsolable. I kept telling her like how Skinny Jeans kept messing with me and all the kind of other stuff. And yeah, like I remember we sat down and talked for a little bit and stuff like that. And I remember there was this fine ass boy that I low-key had a crush on, by the way, that had also came out there and had checked on me and stuff like that. And yeah, he came out there and checked on me too. And yeah, I remember after I calmed down and gathered myself together, I remember I had told Mongolia, like, Mongolia, would it be okay if I went home early? Because I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the rest of the shift. She was like, cool, yeah, you can go home, whatever. And I clocked out and went home, and that was that. Now, that was that night. And also, I left the part out. I was so mad. I think I had scared this one lady. It was this white lady. I think she had like her little mixed daughter with her and stuff like that. I think I scared her so much and stuff like that. Like when I had pushed the door open and it hit the wall, like the swinging door, like when I had pushed it open and hit the wall. I want to say I pushed it too hard to the point where it scared her and stuff like that. And I remember when me, Sarita, and the other guy, when we were outside talking like that, I remember looking behind me and stuff like that. And she was walking out with her daughter in her arms. She was like, I remember her saying, "Oh my God, these people are crazy." And she was walking like fast out of there to get the hell out of there. Like she didn't want no smoke. Like she was walking fast as hell with her daughter in her arms to get out of there, honey. Like, lady, if you're watching this, I'm sorry if I scared you. It's just like I was just super pissed. Like a nigga was trying me, and yeah, I just, lost it there. Sorry to you and your daughter. Anyways, that was that night. Now, after that night on, man, me and Skinny Jeans were sworn enemies, let me tell you. It's like every time I go in the kitchen and stuff like that, he nitpick with me about every simple little thing and stuff like that. And let me say this. If you know me in real life, y'all know my real name is not Lexi or Lexiana. It's Dontavius. 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 That's my real name. And over the years, people have butchered it, and it's never gotten under my skin. Like, child, I've heard it all before. Demetrius, Devontae, Dontravius, Devontavius, Dante. Like, I've heard it all before. Hell, like, my friend who I consider auntie and stuff like that, my transgender friend auntie, she says Dontravius, and it doesn't get under my skin. Because like I said, people butcher my name throughout the years, like it's never got under my skin, whatever. But what got under my skin about this one is motherfuckers want to be funny. You want to be funny. You want to be funny. Well, let's be funny then. Okay. Like, it's like motherfuckers wanting to be funny, bro. Let me tell you why. Okay. Like I said, my real government name is Dontavius. And what really got under my skin about this one is that, like I said, most folks want to be funny. At that time, like I said, at this time, I was not out the closet. And at this time, and y'all already know, like with these restaurant jobs and stuff, they say hiring and firing people left and right. Like, child, I count on one hand, like, how many times I've seen people get hired and get fired and stuff like that. Like, at the time, with the McDonald's people, the full-on employees, they had like these red button-up shirts and stuff like that. And the newbies, they had like these white collared shirts. And at that time, there was an openly gay flamboyant male there who had a name similar to mine. Like I said, my name is Dontavius. We're going to say his name was Demetrius. Like I said, he was an openly gay, flamboyant, feminine male. Like dark skin, like he looked okay to me and stuff like that. Like, yeah. Anywho, this is where niggas try to be funny at. Like I said, my real name is Dontavius. We're going to call him Demetrius. And there are times and stuff like that. Let's just say if I'm cleaning the lobby or something like that, or if I'm helping out in the kitchen and stuff like that, he'll just randomly, let's say he needed me to do something or he wanted my attention, he'll just purposely say, "Hey, Demetrius," and then him and his friends just be kiki laughing and stuff like that. Like, it's the funniest thing they heard in the world. Like, I motherfucker, I see what you're doing there. You're trying to be funny, trying to insinuate something. Which, even before I came out of the closet, people made fun of me for being gay. Like, that's never gotten under my skin. As a matter of fact, there's this one girl there who I love so much. She had kind of helped train me. We're going to call her Coco. We're going to call her Coco. I remember I was cleaning the lobby. I think she was already on break, and one of her friends that was also an employee there was on break and stuff. She was like, "Hey, Datavis, come here. Can I ask you something?" She was like, "Somebody here told me that you were bisexual." And at that time, you know, I was lying through my fucking teeth. I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not bisexual. I don't know where you heard that from." And yeah, I just went on about my business. But yeah, this bitch right here knew the truth this bitch right here knew the truth on deep down inside, honey. Like, this bitch right here knew the truth deep down inside. But whatever. Anywho, yeah, you know, niggas trying to be funny. Like I said, whenever he tried to get my attention and stuff like that, he would be like, "Hey, Demetrius," and then just randomly call me that dude name and stuff like that. And him and his friends would be laughing like it's the funnest thing I heard in the world. And I just used to just ignore it because, keep in mind, at that time, you know, that was my first job and all that kind of other stuff. I ain't want no smoke, so whatever. And let's just say he want to get my attention again and stuff like that. Let's just say throughout the duration of time so that this was happening, when the bullying was happening and stuff like that, not only would he do that, he called my name and stuff like that in a very feminine, flamboyant, gay male voice, like, "Dontavious," and like that. Like, boy, like, go fuck yourself. Like, there was one time stuff like that, like, he took a bun and stuff like that, and I want to say he rolled like a piece of celery or some shit in it, and he passed it to me and stuff like that over like some kitchen stuff and stuff. I remember I was walking back to the lobby and stuff like that, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you want to hit the blunt?" And I just walked off, not paying him no mind, because, boy, I don't fuck with you. Like, get the fuck out my face. And yeah, that's some of the little petty shit he was doing. They even got a sweet, innocent girl in on the action. Like, if y'all remember that story time I did a long while back where I clickbaited y'all, where I had clickbaited y'all and stuff into thinking that I slept with Chris Brown, when I really was telling y'all a story about how this guy had stole a girl's phone and tried to give it to this guy that was working there, had stole one of the employees, she was a girl, had stole her phone and stuff like that, and had gifted it to his girlfriend. I think I had named her Angel in that story because she was a very sweet girl. Yeah, her sweet little self. They even got her in on it and stuff like that. I think she had tried to get my attention. She wanted me to do something and stuff like that. She was like, "Hey, she couldn't think of my name worth of shit and stuff like that. She was like, "Hey, somebody had, I think, what's his face, what I call him, Skinny Jeans. I think Skinny Jeans in the kitchen, or it could have been somebody else. He was like, his name Dontavious. And she was like, "Well, I want to call him Demetrius." And then they all had laughed. And once again, I had ignored it because, you know, I ain't want no smoke, whatever. Now, let's get to the part where my dad got involved. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get into that. So, I remember one day and stuff like that. This back in the day when I was living with my parents, because obviously, you know, I was still in school. And I remember I came home and stuff like that. I used to vent to my dad all the time about how this motherfucker was bullying me and all the kind of other stuff. And yeah, I remember I had showed my dad his Facebook page and stuff like that. Like, I remember I had showed my dad his Facebook page, so like that. I said, "See, Dad, this is what he looked like. His name is Skinny Jeans something and stuff like that." And, you know, my dad, you know, looked at his Facebook page, you know, just nodded his head and all kinds of other stuff. And yeah, I just went on about my day and stuff like that. And I remember there was this one time and stuff like that. Me and my dad, I think at one time I remember I had came home and I was venting to my dad about it, stuff like that. And I think my dad asked me, "Well, you wanna go up there and we talk to him and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I remember, I think I had changed out my clothes at this point, my work clothes at that point. So I remember we had drove up there. It was me and him at this time. Me and my dad. We had drove up there to McDonald's and stuff like that. Like I said, this is after my shift was over, and the lobby was already packed because it was the weekend and stuff like that. And um, we were hoping to run into Skinny Jeans and stuff like that, like to see if he was back there and stuff like that, so we can have a conversation. But I think at that point, shortly after I had left and stuff like that, Skinny Jeans shift was over. We never saw him, so me and my dad had left. But that's not the end of it. I remember and stuff, like I said, I showed my dad Skinny Jeans Facebook. So this was like weeks later and stuff like that. I remember, I was just, doing my thug thizzle and stuff like that. I remember I was just doing my thug thizzle and stuff like that, and clean the lobby and stuff like that, just doing my normal job and stuff like that. And I remember, my dad, he used to dine in at McDonald's all the time, not because I worked there, but he used to dine in at McDonald's all the time, especially during breakfast time. I remember that, yeah, Skinny Jeans was working that shift too that day and stuff like that. And one thing about McDonald's and stuff like that, I don't know if they do it now, but you could, as an employee, get free drinks. Like, if you're thirsty, come out to the lobby, go to the little drink machine, get you a free drink, bing, bam, boom, that's that. So I remember Skinny Jeans had came out to get him a little drink. And I remember I had went over to the table where my dad was sitting because he was sitting right by the door and stuff like that. I went over to where my dad was sitting and stuff like that. And I had whispered to my dad, I was like, "That's him, Dad. Like, that's him. Like, that's the guy that's bullying me and stuff like that." And yeah, I remember my dad just, just nodded his head in agreement, and, I just went on about my business, whatever. So let's fast forward a little bit to almost the end of the day or the middle of the day and whatnot. I remember Skinny Jeans, he was texting on his phone. And I remember and stuff like that, I think I had got finished cleaning the bathroom. And I remember, he had stopped me. He was like, "Hey," he looked like he had like a worried, scared look on his face. He was like, "Hey, tell your dad to chill, bro." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I'm confused. And I think he had said something along the lines like my dad was messaging him and threatening him and whatnot. I don't know, but yeah. And after that and stuff like that, he had walked off, and I remember I had went back into one of the bathrooms and stuff like that to, call my dad and be like, I remember I called my dad, I was like, "Dad, like, this boy named Skinny Jeans had said something along the lines of you was inboxing him, threatening him. Is that true?" And then he was like, "That was last week. I ain't do it." He was like, "That was last week. That's old, this, that, the third, or something like that." And I was like, "Well, did you say anything and stuff like that to him?" I was like, "Well, yeah, but I forgot what my dad said." But he said something, he basically admitted that, yeah, he inboxed him and, said some hard stuff to him. But yeah. And I remember I had went back up to Skinny Jeans. He was still at the drink machine. And I was like, "Hey, I had called my dad and stuff like that, and he won't tell me when he had messaged you." And I distinctly remember what Skinny Jeans had told me. He was like, "Well, if he won't tell you, it ain't meant to be said, bro." And just went on about his business. But let's just say, thank God for my father, because after my dad messaged him or whatever the case may be and stuff like that, girl, he left me the fuck alone. Like, girl, like, that motherfucker had left me the fuck alone. I swear, hunty. Like, he left me the fuck alone. Like, as a matter of fact, I never saw him again after that. Like, he worked, like, for a couple of days and stuff like that. And then after that, I think he had got locked up or he quit or one of the two. But whatever. Now, one part of the story that I had left out. Not only did Skinny Jeans himself work there, but his mother did. And I, for the life of me, I swear on everything, people, I did not know they were mother and son. I did not know until, this shit happened. We're going to call her Miss Bug Eyes because she has some big old crazy scary eyes. So we're going to call her Miss Bug Eyes. So, like I said, I think at that point, Skinny Jeans either quit or got locked up, one of the two. But I remember Miss Bug Eyes and stuff like that, she pretty much, has been working there at that point and stuff like that. And, we always kept a cordial with each other, hey, how you doing, that sort of thing. We never had any deep, in-depth conversations or anything like that. But whatever. She had started with me, as a matter of fact. Like, we both got hired on at the same time or whatever. But anyways, I remember, like I said, one of my main jobs and stuff like that at McDonald's and stuff like that was, cleaning the lobby. I was the maintenance man. Off and on, I worked in the kitchen, but on this particular day, I was cleaning up. And I don't know how the McDonald's is set up now, but back then and stuff like that, when you were the maintenance man, anything you needed to clean the lobby and stuff like that was in the kitchen in these brown cabinets. So I remember I went back there to get something and stuff like that. And I remember I was walking back, to go through the lobby. I was walking back through the kitchen and stuff like that to go to the lobby. And then out of nowhere, Miss Bug Eyes had shouted out, "Tell your daddy he need to see me." With an angry, crazed look on her face. Y'all heard that right. She said, "Tell your daddy he needs to see me. Not I need to see him, but he needs to see me." And as she said that, I was like, and even back then, I was a little nosy bitch. I was like, what's wrong? Like, what does he need to see you for? She's like, "Just tell him he need to see me." And like I said, back then, I was a little nosy bitch. I wanted to pry it out of her. I was like, is it about me? And she's like, "Oh, it's always you. It's always you." This, that, and the third. I cannot remember verbatim what she said, but let's just say she went in, honey. I wish I had one of them body cam things on me so I could record like how she was looking and stuff like that, because sis was pissed, hunty. She was pissed, which I can understand because this grown ass man and stuff like that, which is my dad, like this grown ass man, I can understand she was pissed because, this grown ass man had, this grown ass man had cussed out a child, but had cussed out her child and stuff like that, which happened to be the same age as me. Like, I think at that point I had turned 19 at that point, and he was 19 also. We were both grown ass men, but still, this grown ass man cussed out her child, whatever the case may be. But anyways, she was like, "It's always you. It's always you." But yeah, I wish I had one of the body cam things on because sis went in and stuff like that. She was like, "You told your daddy to," like I said, I can't remember verbatim what she said, but let's say she said something along the lines of, "You told your daddy stuff to mention my son, blah, blah, blah." And I tried to tell her, like, I didn't tell my dad to do that, but I didn't get the finish. I was like, "I didn't." "Yes, you did. You did tell your daddy to mention my son, blah, 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 blah. You want to run your dad like you 5 years old? ABCXYZ. Well, he like to preach about hell. He gonna get to heaven real quick. He want to act like he about that life, but Miss Bug Eyes is about that life. Blah, 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 blah." Like, she was going in, hunty. She was going in. And this is the part where I know that Miss Bug Eyes was not about that life, because you kept saying over and over, "He needs to see me." So I remember, I was somewhat, with the shits and stuff like that. I was like, well, I could call him and stuff and tell him to come up here. "Oh, no." She was like this. She was like, "Oh, no. I don't want you to call him. I want him to see me if he got a problem." And this, that, and the third. Like, bitch, are you scared or not? Like, up to this day, I 100% believe the reason why you let me have it like you did, because my little sweet ass wasn't going to say or do anything to you. But my dad is a different story. Hell, my sister is in the living room listening to me make this story time. She can vouch for you. Her and her daughter, which is my niece. My dad is not the one to be messed with. Like, my dad is a very bold, loud, aggressive, outspoken man. Anyone that knows him knows that he's not the one to be fucked with. The reason why you popped off on my little sweet ass, because you knew my little sweet ass wasn't gonna do anything. But my dad's a different story. No wonder why he asked, like, oh no, I want you to call him. I want him to see me if he got a problem. Because you know, if you step to my dad with the same smoke you gave me, it'll be a problem. You know he'll put your ass in your place. And you know, after she said that, it did let me know, like, and I remember, you know, well, we'll get to that part. But anyways, and stuff like that, I remember, you know, she said what she said, you know, she calmed down and, you know, went to the sink to wash the dishes or whatever. And I remember I stepped to her again. I was like, well, like, if you don't want me, I think I said something online. So I was like, well, like, you don't want his phone number. Like, do you want his address or something? She's like, oh, no, I don't want the address or some shit. And yeah, like, yeah. And I remember I had went back to the lobby because, like I said, I was in the middle of cleaning the lobby. And girl, after that little debacle happened, girl, I was mad. I was mad. Not the fact that she had confronted me and embarrassed me in front of all those people in the kitchen, but because, Dad, understand, if you're watching this video, understand I love you to pieces. You're the reason I'm the man I am today. But the reason I was so pissed is that I told you I was going to handle what was going on at work, and you went behind my back and got involved anyway. That's what pissed me off. Like, I remember, yeah. I remember I was so pissed. I was too upset to work and stuff like that. Like, I remember I had told the manager that was there at the time, I was like, hey, I'm too upset to work stuff now. Please go home. And he had let me go home. And I remember, yeah, I came in that house. I was fuming and stuff like that. And I remember I was kind of pissed off at my dad, but not too pissed off because I know how my dad is and stuff. I basically told him, I was like, Dad, like, what did you do? Like, I told you I was going to handle this and stuff like that, and you pretty much, yeah, like, did what you did and stuff like that. I told my dad something like that along those lines. And basically, my dad basically told me in so many words, like, I know you said you'd handle it, but that was assurance. I messaged the boy for assurance to make sure, you know, he wasn't going to try nothing else, to make sure he wasn't going to keep continuously bullying you, pretty much. That was what my dad had told me in so many words. And yeah, I remember I had told my dad what Miss Bug-Eye said. I was like, yeah, she was so pissed about it and stuff like that. Yeah, she said she wants you to see her if you got a problem. And my dad looked at me crazy like, I remember he had asked me, and I remember he had laughed and stuff somewhat. He was like, do that make sense? He was like, I don't even know this lady. Like, he's like, do that make sense? Like, I don't even know this lady. What do I need to see her for? That's what my dad was saying in so many words. And basically, my dad, you know, basically told me pretty much what I was thinking. Like, yeah, basically saying the reason why she popped off on you because she knew you weren't going to do nothing, but she don't want no smoke, low-key. That's the reason why she had said it like that, because she don't want no smoke, low-key, because she know, like, I'll put her ass in her place. He said something along them lines. Yeah, he basically said that's the reason why, you know, she didn't want to approach my dad like how she approached me, because she didn't want no smoke. That's why she said it like that. That's what he was saying, so many words. Like, I remember I told my dad what she said. He just laughed in my face. He was like, dude, that makes sense. Like, I don't even know this lady. If she want me to see her, like, you the one with the problem, come see me. But yeah, me and my dad were both convinced that Charlotte didn't want to smoke. She didn't want to smoke, not one bit. Because, hunty, my dad and I both know if you were to step to my dad how you step to me, it'll be World War III in that bitch. It'll be a shouting match central, hunty. Like, yeah. Also, let's not forget my dad's a man and she's a woman, but still, she didn't want no smoke. Like, I'm pretty sure you know how my dad get down and you didn't want no part of it. So, yeah. So, anyways, yeah, that was that. I remember, like, let's fast forward to a couple of weeks and stuff like that. After, after the dust settled and all that kind of other stuff. I remember, my dad still came in and dined in and had breakfast and stuff like that at McDonald's and stuff like that. I remember, he was, eating his breakfast and then he finished and then he got up to leave. And I remember I had told Miss Bug Eyes, I had stopped her in the kitchen. I was like, Miss Bug Eyes, no lie, I was kind of a messy ass little bitch back then. I ain't gonna lie, I was messy as fuck back then. I was kind of a little messy in a way back then, but in a way, I remember I told her, I was like I said, my dad, he was getting up to leave. I was like, Miss Bug Eyes, my dad's in the parking lot if you want to talk to him. I know, I want him to see me if he got a problem. And I remember, at the end of my shift, I went home and started and told my dad what I did and stuff like that. And once again, he laughed in my face. He was like, do that make sense? She want me to see her if I got a problem? Like, yeah. And also, I can't help make myself believe that the reason... Sorry, I thought I heard something. And I cannot help but make myself believe the reason why she said it like that was because low-key she wanted a case. Like, she wanted my dad to pop off on her and stuff like that so she could play victim. So she could have a case. That's what I think. Because, honey, I get that my dad had confronted your child about bullying me and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you have an issue with what he did. Wouldn't it make more sense for you to say, I want to see him as opposed to he needs to see me? Makes absolutely no sense, sweetheart. Sorry. And up to this day, let me tell y'all something. When you tell a story, you can spin the narrative in any way you want. I could not help but make myself believe that that motherfucker Skinny Jeans had flipped the situation around and made it seem like I was bullying him and stuff like that. And I just had my dad join in on the fun or something like that so he could play victim. So his mom can have his back. That's what I think happened. He flipped the script and made it seem like I was bullying him and I had my dad join in on the fun to play victim or some shit like that. That's what I think happened. Cause, yeah, like, sis went in on my ass. I ain't gonna lie. Not to mention, I had left this part out too. Okay, so, I remember that, after, we had our little argument and stuff like that, and I went home and stuff like that, and I had calmed down and whatnot. I also remember messaging her and stuff like that on Facebook and stuff like that. I ended up finding what I thought was her Facebook page. So I think she had two of them at the time, stuff like that. I ended up finding what I thought was her Facebook and stuff like that, and I sent her a long paragraph and stuff like that, explaining my side of the story because, keep in mind, her son could have spun the narrative in any way he wanted to and stuff like that. So I decided to tell her my side of the story from start to finish. Did she see the message? Did she not? Like, I don't know, but I, told her my side of the story from start to finish, like how her son was bullying me and all the kind of other stuff. And if the tables were turned, if I was bullying him on the job side, that she probably would have done the same thing that my dad did, this, that, and the third. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there too. Up to this day, did she see the message? Did she not? I don't know. Like, she didn't call me no homophobic names or anything like that. She just, just put me in my place somewhat, but whatever. I just can't help but make myself believe, he flipped the script and tried to make it seem like I was the bad guy, so I didn't play victim. Whatever. I don't live with them, but, I never lived with them. I don't know what that situation was about, but whatever. It is what it is. Anyways, I also remember, like, he had came in one day and stuff like that. He was wearing some nice-ass clothes. This is Skinny Jeans. I think he was still working there, or he had quit, or, like I said, I think maybe he probably had got arrested and went to jail or something like that, and they recently released him or something like that. And I remember he came in wearing some nice clothes. He had, like, a bucket hat on and stuff like that, wearing some nice clothes. All the employees greeted him and stuff like that. And at that point, we had let the past be past and stuff like that. And yeah, we were talking to, we, had a little small talk like, hey, how you doing? The beef was squashed. And yeah, and I remember Miss Bug Eyes, she eventually had came around and, we were still cordial again. And yeah. So yeah, that's just about it for this video. In this day and age, if I was 18 or 19 years old and working at McDonald's, I would have handled that situation a lot differently. Like, one thing about the Sylvester McDonald's and stuff like that, the corporate office number and stuff like that, it was and still is at the time. It's posted and stuff like that on a white sticker at the second drive-thru window. Like, when you're getting your food, it's posted at the second drive-thru window and stuff like that, the corporate office and stuff like that. So if I was thinking straight and stuff like that, what I should have done and stuff like that, I should have had called corporate office and reported the problem. Now that I think about it. Like I said, if I was 18 or 19 years old in this day and age, I would have called corporate office and that reported the problem. Like, them pussy ass managers and stuff like that that work at McDonald's, they weren't gonna do shit about the problem anyway, but whatever and stuff like that. What I should have done and stuff like that, if I was thinking straight, what I would do at this day and age, if I was 18 or 19 years old, I'd call corporate office and report the problem. That's what I think I would have done in this day and age. Or maybe I probably would have told one of the managers and let them handle it and stuff like that. Because I remember I had faced a similar situation, stuff like that, that I may talk about in an upcoming story time. So stay tuned. So yeah, that's just about it for this video. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to start my social media handles over here as well as description box down below. So feel free to add follow me on those. So until next time, peace out.